Hi, everybody. Former Patriot and cancer survivor Joe Andruzzi here, coming to you from my home in Massachusetts. Sorry we can't be together for the Stowe Weekend of Hope. I was so looking forward to being there and speaking to you all and getting to know a few of you, but unfortunately, during this time in this world, it can't happen. So I hope you're all safe and sound to begin with, and here to give you a little bit of a inspiring story and help you move forward in your daily life and help you, fight the biggest battle of your life. When I speak to different crowds and businesses and organizations and stuff, I usually word it as the roller coaster of life. Whether you like roller coasters or not, but the roller coaster ride of life is the point that you have your ups and downs, and it's how you battle back from being down. Most of you have been down, and whether it is the cancer battle or just in life, but you got to get back on your feet and keep moving forward every day. Big believer in laughter is that best medicine, and keep smiling every day. But my story started with my family, and I come from a big Italian family in New York, and having growing up with my father, who was a New York City cop, came from eight kids. My grandparents were straight off the boat in Italy. Yes, you do hear the birds chirping here, probably because I'm sitting outdoors. But growing up with four boys in my family, my three brothers are all New York City firemen, and I was sort of on the outskirts and the black sheep of the family, I guess, and took a different route. They all stayed home and went to school at home, and I went away to college, and I continued to play football. And football gave me a chance and opportunity to go and study at Southern Connecticut. Went to go study and become a teacher. I focused in on special education, found it to be one of the most rewarding things that I can do. And, I deep down inside, I truly believe that family is number one. It's who you lean on for your most likely for the toughest times. And, during my times of my life and career, I had to lean on my big majority of family, but also leaning on my wife and my 5 children to come together and through those tough times and the battle, and whether it's on the field or off the field, but many battles in my career and my life. But knowing that you keep moving forward, and for me, football gave me many opportunities. I was unknown guy out of high school. Had a late birthday, so it was August. I went to college at 17 and had an opportunity to go Division II, and went up there. And for me, they threw me a football and told me to go play center, which I never did before. Started my freshman year, 4 straight years, ended Southern there, and 1997. I was a 2-year Division II All-American. I don't wear half shirts like you see in one of these photos here anymore. I don't think my wife and kids would appreciate it, but had a chance and opportunity to get a call from an agent that heard about me, and he was in town. He worked me out and gave me a chance, and he said all it takes is one phone call, one person, one team to open their eyes and see what you got. So my combine numbers were comparable to many guys coming out of the college era in 1997, and the draft came and went. The draft ended about 10 minutes after the draft. I got a phone call from the Green Bay Packers that they were going to sign me to a rookie free agent contract. I got a big fat zero bonus that with my contract. I They even took the big pen that I signed the contract with, and they took that back when I signed my contract. So for me, I was scrounging from the bottom. I was an unknown kid coming into Green Bay, Wisconsin. They were the Super Bowl champs at the time, and it was me and the other offensive lineman rookie was a first round pick. So it was a battle that I had to keep fighting. It was that started that roller coaster that just a click, 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 going up, going up, going up, and trying to keep moving forward and make the team. I made the opening day roster as one of the biggest long shots in the NFL that year, as Ron Wolf, the Hall of Fame general manager, had said in a news conference. But I didn't play much that year. I was a emergency guy, but I was happy and glad to be there, but knowing that it only takes one chance or opportunity, that you still can be released and next guy can come in. So somebody wants that spot, somebody wants that job. And for me, they sent me off to Scotland and gave me a chance, an opportunity to better my chances in the NFL, and played 10 games and came in as an unknown and left Scotland for NFL Europe as one of the top offensive linemen in the league in spring of '98. And for me, it kind of sprung me up a little bit. And my second year came. I made the roster, as did my third year. But my third year, there was some injuries coming about, and so in came a little switch onto my fourth year. Turned around and they were moving some guys around, and unfortunately, it became a numbers game. And for me, was two great things they did for me was sign me as a rookie free agent and cut me in 2000, where I was picked up by some guy named Bill Belichick off the streets and came here to New England. And turned around, I looked at my wife and I said, honey, New England's going to sign me to a contract. And she looked at me and she said, where is that? So then I had to break out the map and show her where Massachusetts was, but knowing where we were going to be going, and to the East Coast. So I came here, signed my contract, and had 5 great years here. Then unfortunately, it does become a business. And after 2004, I signed with the Cleveland Browns and finished my career with the Browns. During my time in New England, the year, my second year here, 2001, we were 0-1 going into the season, and that roller coaster ride used to go up and down. And Tuesday, 9/11, I was my day off. I was at the dentist and hearing reports about a plane hitting the towers. Not knowing anything, couldn't reach anybody. I picked up my wife and kids, and I went home and just held them for the next 10, 12 hours until I got a phone call from my dad telling me that somebody called to let him know that my brothers were safe. And went to work the next day, and my mind wasn't there. My mind and heart was in New York. Once they canceled that weekend, I told Coach Belichick that I was going to go to New York for the weekend. They opened up the bridges and tunnels and was able to get home to Staten Island. And, some of those sites on that ride that I've driven millions of times was very different when I turned around and made my way down to Staten Island, New York, where I grew up, and going home, and my brother walking in and going. That's how close he was. He was running out of Tower 1 when the building was falling behind him, and just giving him a great big hug and, sharing a tear. But knowing it wasn't just that day of 9/11, it was the rescue efforts, the days after, the cleanup efforts, the days and weeks and months after, trying to be there for them as much as I can during the football season, but also knowing I had to get back to work, and believing that sports sometimes can help heal wounds, and not only heal but get your mind off of what's going on in real life for a little bit at a time. So the following game was coming up against the Jets, and Mr. Kraft had asked if my brothers would be the honorary captains, and I called them up, and they all said yes and came up, and they didn't represent me, the Patriots, Jets, anybody. They represented the jackets they wore that day were their uniforms, and they represented everybody who perished on that Tuesday, 9/11. But to see the New York and New England crowds screaming and yelling for them, and knowing that we stood together as one. But hopefully it's the first and last time we see the New York and New England fans holding hands during that time. But it was a time we all had to lean on each other and come together as one. But also knowing that whole season was, that roller coaster ride when you're in that tunnel and turning around and being able to turn and come in. And for us, it was a little uphill climb for us. That was the same year that Drew Bledsoe decided to run with the football, and some unknown guy by name of Tom Brady came walking in the huddle with a smile on his face. And but then began a different opportunity for us as a whole new team. We were a bunch of nobodies, a bunch of guys that brought our lunch pails to work every day. And we knew we had to work hard. We knew we had to slow things down and take it 1 week at a time. For us, we had to settle back in. We knew we had a young quarterback, and we had to take the team and be able to do that little bit of extra when we're whether you're not in the game or whether you're on the sideline for practice. And we had to be able to withstand and have that opportunity to play it one game at a time and one play at a time. But also knowing the fact that there's other people out there that wish to be out there with you, and you were out there cheering on the fans, and got to know one fan really well. And during my time there in 2001, I had an opportunity to meet the Buckley family with the young boy CJ. Their son CJ was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, and when I saw him, and whether he came to our house or visit him at his house, and connection was made, and truly believe that God works in funny ways. He connected my family with his family, and I met numerous of kids and adults with cancer, but also knowing that how he lived his life and how he pushed himself. And he was a big sailor. When he was on that sailboat, he was on that water. He didn't have cancer out there. He had his goals, and he wanted them. Unfortunately, cancer did take him away from us. He succumbed to the battle in December of 2002. But during the 16 months that I knew him, I would go to his house. He would jump out of bed, and knowing that, no matter how sick he was, he'd get right up and go. So for me, I saw that. My wife and I, when he did pass, and his family started the C.J. Buckley Brain Cancer Research Fund, which we helped donate to Dr. Mark Kieran for many years for raising funds for brain cancer research. We had 3 events during my time here, and we raised over $500,000 for brain cancer research. Once again, God works in funny ways. Went to Cleveland, and after I was released from Cleveland in April 2007, I was working out and trying to go play for my 11th year. Just finished 10 years, and we still had that little inkling of wanting to keep playing. And for me, it was some stomach aches and little things that were happening and not feeling good, and a couple of tests and one thing after another. I was diagnosed with cancer in May of '07. I was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, which is a very rare and aggressive form of cancer that doubles in size in 24 hours. So action had to be done fast. I flew back here to Boston and met with my doctor, which was set up by Dr. Kieran and his help, and reaching out trying to find the best lymphoma doctor, because Burkitt's lymphoma is a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But began the toughest battle of my life, and the toughest battle was in a bed. For me, I was a big guy, and being diagnosed with aggressive cancer forced aggressive chemo. So here we go, that roller coaster ride again. I'm back down. I'm in that part of that roller coaster, back in that tunnel, and not knowing what my future was. And all I knew was, I'm listening to my doctors and nurses, trying to do the right things and trying to fight this thing head on. I fought for 3 months in the hospital, and one day at a time. And I tried to do my best on moving forward and understanding how this poison was going in my body, and it was going to help me heal and live. So for me, it was a day-to-day process, and a lot of it I do not remember, probably because a lot of you out there have heard of chemo brain, and it affects you, and it's you see what it does to the outside of your body. You lose your hair, you change your skin tone, you develop all different. I developed a bunch of rashes and sick, throwing up, but then you don't know what's going on the inside of your body, and different things happen on your insides, and it affects you there too, and it really affected with my mind. I had a big battle with depression and anxiety when I was finished, not knowing where I was going to go from there. So at that time, I finished chemo, and at that time, it was usually the start of football season. And unfortunately, I was about 80 pounds lighter and very fragile, and a lot of aches and pains, and I wasn't going anywhere. But it was that day-to-day process. It was that smiling and being home with my kids, and having my daughter, who is helping produce this right now, but she was probably about 7 or 8 years old at the time, and thought it was absolutely hysterical that Dad was bald, and just having that great big belly laugh every time that I had a chance to come home, releases those endorphins that helps you heal. And still to this day, I shaved my head recently, and she still gets a little kick out of me being bald again. But still have some hair left. I shaved my head, but also into a mohawk this time, being that we're raising some funds for the foundation, for a committee member and his family and his actually neighborhood started Cohawks for Cancer, and my 8-year-old son and I did it for the foundation. Then that being said, after my battle, the foundation, we wanted to help on a personal note, and after my depression and anxiety, I received a phone call from my mom up in Maine for her son who's going to school in New Hampshire. Sarah Folger reached out to me and just wanted me to call her son, who was just recently diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, and just to inspire him a little bit to, keep fighting every day. And he is now a pediatric oncologist. And for me, I hung up that phone and looked at my wife and said, we can do a lot of good with this and help pay it forward so that, many others can, release a little bit of that burden during their battle, and understanding that, I know medical bills are always there and they're going to be expensive, but medical bills can always be put on the payment plans, and your food, your life at home, mortgage, rent, utilities still all needs to be paid. The foundation was born in May 2008, and happy to say that we strive and pride ourselves on helping any cancer, any age, all throughout New England. So for us to keep paying it forward, and many different events that we have, third-party events. We do have a gala at Gillette Stadium that raises over $1 million every year. We have our golf outing that raises significant funds. We have our marathon team, our Falmouth Road Race team. We have a running program that helps raises money for the foundation. It's we do a lot of great things to help pay it forward, but we have a lot of ambassadors out there that help us do that. Fortunately, we were a part of the 2013 Boston Marathon, and to be there and to, watch the runners come through and then sitting there and all of a sudden a stop to the race as my wife and I stood at the finish line about 20 yards, 25 yards away from the first bomb site, and looking over and just hearing the explosion, because you couldn't actually see it with the amount of people and everything going on. And then 10 seconds later, the other bomb going off, and, realizing that, there's something was going on, and to turn around and help those that were in need, and just, you don't think, you just react. And I was helping people get to the medical tent, helping break down the fences, the ambulances trying to get down the road and things like that. But knowing that many others did so much more in that day and the aftermath, and the people that did perish on that day, and understand that it was a great tragedy in this world, but also knowing that we had to come back stronger. And I think being stronger is one of the best things that can come together as a community, and a person too. As my brother, who was one of the first responders at Tower 1, once told me, is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I believe he was told that many of times himself, who is now a lieutenant in Brooklyn, still on the fire department. And with myself, I get stronger every day. It took, a good year to get back on my feet after my battle, but one day at a time, keep moving forward. But I strive to have this foundation be known and to help as many families as we can. We've helped multiple families, individuals, with the many things that we do. The people that we meet, the kids that we meet, we pay it forward in so many ways. But knowing that we can't do that without your support and help out there, and understanding that, we need, as much support as anybody, especially during these tough times, but also knowing that, during these tough times, cancer isn't stepping away. Cancer is still with us, and, it's still a battle for many people. So keep moving forward, live every day to the fullest, keep smiling, laugh with your friends, family, release those endorphins, and take things one day at a time. Keep moving forward, keep paying it forward. Stay safe and healthy. Anybody who wants any more information, there is a link right here. Many ways to stay in touch. We have a calendar of events that is on our website, and many things to get involved in. But, by all means, time is the most valuable thing we have. And you can't put a price on time. There's only so much time we all have on this earth. So God bless you all, and wish you all the best. Sorry we couldn't be together, but hope to see you in the future. Take care.